Welcome to another live stream of America Bumper to Bumper. This is Car Chat with Kip. I am Kip, and if this is your first time here, this channel is America Bumper to Bumper, and here we look at anything automobile. We even do some, started doing a little bit of other stuff with something called Universal Yums, but for the most part, car related, you'll find it here. Generally go to car shows, we go to Cars and Coffees, some motorsports venues. Yeah, just a big car nut here. And tonight I am very unprepared because I had a bit of a honey-do list when I got home, which included hooking up new hoses to our washing machine because they nearly blew, and that would have been bad. So that is what we were looking at there. I'm going to go over to Facebook for a minute, and I'm going to tell you guys where I will be this weekend. And I'm very happy to say this weekend I will be pretty much at home. There are a couple of car things going on, but we're gonna, I think, stay with the local stuff, which will be Love to the Rescue car show. It's being held here in Rutland in the Home Depot parking lot. For anybody that are in the area and know where Home Depot is, come on by. It's 9 to 3. It's a good show. For a really good cause. This year, it used to be called the Relay for Life show, where they would donate proceeds to the Relay for Life. This year, they've changed it up, and with that, the name changed, Love to the Rescue. And all this, the money they're raising this weekend will go to the Shriners Hospital in Boston. So let's go down. I want to make sure there's nothing else I'm going to try to get to. No, really just looks like we're going to be close to home this weekend, and as soon as we get home from that show, I'll start editing and getting videos up. Let's see what's going to happen next weekend. No, we're not doing anything Tuesday or Thursday. Saturday, unfortunately, no-go. Sunday, next Sunday, June 9th, a very, very good chance that I will be at Canaan Motor Club over in Canaan, New Hampshire for the Chicane Track Cross. And that is starts at 8 a.m. It's kind of like autocross, but on the Canaan Motor Speedway road course. So that'll be some fun. So that's where we'll be next weekend, and we'll see if we got anything going on the following. Lots of stuff going on the following weekend. It's just a matter of figuring out where we might want to go. Of course, that is Father's Day, so we'll have to see what happens there. Okay. So where are we sitting at in terms of YouTube-ness? Right now, I'm very happy to say we have gained 3 subscribers over the past week. So woohoo! Not a ton of views on the last few videos, but that's okay. Hey, Walter, thank you for stopping in. Glad to see you here. What else? So that, yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Now, bear with me. I'm going to actually try and go to find some car stories to look at while we're doing this. Okay. We'll take a look at this. Open a new link. And no. No, 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 no. All right. So let's that's very true. Summer weather does slow views. All right, first story we're going to look at today. This is from Road and Track, and it's 25 cars that need comeback. You guys, and Walter, and if anybody else pops in, let me know whether you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The first vehicle that Road and Track believes should make a comeback, the Volkswagen Scirocco. Now, Volkswagen does have a Scirocco European market that at one point they had thrown around bringing back to these shores, but to me it just looks like a kind of flattened out a bit, Golf, like a GTI stuff. I really enjoy and very much like the first and second generation Scirocco's that we had. Those I thought were pretty, unique looking, fun little sports cars. And, they weren't, the fastest thing by any means, but they look good, fairly reliable for, the 80s. And definitely think that that one should make a comeback. So I'm going to give that one a thumbs up. And I've not previewed any of these, so I'm seeing these and talking about them just as you guys are hearing it too. The Lotus Elan from the 60s, and I'll give it kind of a thumb this way. The only Lotus you can buy in America right now is the Evora, and the only available in coupe. The Elise had a target top, but it wasn't really a true roadster like the Elan. If Lotus wants to expand its lineup, this would be a good start. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. Kind of more of a half thing. I love the way that the Evora looked. I love the Elise. If you guys haven't seen my video on the turbocharged Elise that I did last year, I'll try to remember to post a card in here so you guys go check that out. But having an open-aired Lotus, that would be a pretty cool thing. Small, fun to drive. That's something you don't really, other than like the Miata earlier, definitely the earlier stuff. For Miata, there aren't really any small, fun, nimble convertibles out there anymore. They're all, just grown too much. I hear that the Miata and the Fiat 124, which is basically Miata, are fun little cars to drive, but I'd much rather have an older Miata or a British Roadster. That's just me. Next, Mazda Speed 3. I never, I could take or leave, the Mazda Speed 3. It's not really that big of a thing for me, so I'm not gonna give that a thumbs up. This one I will. The Cadillac CTS V wagon. Big thumbs up. I thought Cadillac was going to have a home run with the CTS V or CTS wagon in general, but the V for sure. I thought wagons, especially luxury style wagons, were doing well enough that this one would really, really do it. But alas, they didn't sell a ton of them, and the wagon is no more. The great thing about these wagons is 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Very big thumbs up. And you could get it in a manual. 2 thumbs up. The manuals, from what I understand, are extremely rare to find, and because of that, now everybody wants these, cars, and they definitely want the stick shift. Very hard to find, and if you do find one, they are stupid expensive. But I like the way the shape of the car looked really good. I like the fact that you have usable space and it's not an SUV. So again, thumbs up, CTSV wagon. Ford F-150 SVT Lightning. The current Ford F-150, I'm not a big fan of the styling of the current F-150s. That being said, I am also not a fan of the definitely is a base. It was definitely a Corvette wagon. Absolutely. I'm also on that note. I am also not a fan of the GM truck styling either right now. Dodge, that's a kind of a wash there. It's not bad, but it's definitely not the greatest. So if they did an SVT Lightning, I'm not so sure how it would look on the new trucks. Lowered and bigger wheels and all that sort of stuff. Now Raptors, those aren't bad. Those aren't those are pretty cool. I like the lifted look of the newer trucks, but kind of a wash with the F-150 Lightning. Did I do one of these things? Yeah, the use of the aluminum in the trucks is good. Anything to get down weight and bring up performance is a good thing. Out of the trucks that are out right now, I would say Ford is my second favorite. I do like the looks of the new Dodges. Not a whole lot more about the Dodges, but they look good. Ford look okay, and I as much as I am a GM guy, I love my GM. I wouldn't buy one of the new trucks, with the exception of the Colorados. I do like the way that the Colorados look. Same thing. I think that the Rangers look a little bit better than the full-size trucks right now. So, anyways, this is another one I'll start right now by giving a thumbs up, even before I say the name. The Honda RX. That I think again, small, two-door coupes, hatchbacks. I wish they'd make people would make more of them. And in this little story, some people say the CRZ hybrid was the successor of the CRX, but it never really caught on as a lightweight, simple 2-seat hatch everyone wanted it to be. We'd love for Honda to bring in this model back. Yes. Now I cannot remember who I am following. I can't remember if it's something I saw on Facebook, one of the groups that I'm in, but very cool. Someone took a CRZ, which is the hybrid. They took out all the batteries, anything to do with the hybrid system got yanked out of the car. They transplanted I believe it was the Japanese, a JDM engine into it, and now they have what is the closest thing to a CRX modern. And it, from what they say, the car is really fast because it's really light. So that if I can find out who that is, maybe I'll try to get a video going for that, because that is a cool concept right there. And I do agree with you. Well, the CRX old style, definitely with a CI or a Type R version, which I don't think we ever got a CRX Type R. That would be cool. And on the same vein, I don't know if this will come up later, I think that if they brought back the Del Sol, that would be another cool little car. Let's look at the next one. This one, yeah, I'm gonna say, again, it's a wagon. I'll start off with that. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Early cars, the styling was a thumbs down. Later cars, not bad styling. Um, and that is the Dodge Magnum station wagon. Very, anything station wagon, I'm a fan of because it's not an SUV. Later versions had a front end, kind of looked like a Charger, not really, but it looked better than the earlier cars. They even made a Magnum SRT variant, and if you had a station wagon today that you could have with a Hellcat engine, in it from the factory, those things would sell absolutely. So I'm gonna give that one a thumbs up. Next up is a car that if I could own any older, for lack of a better word, supercar, this would be it. Porsche 928. Porsche, if you're a Porsche file. Always, ever since I first saw the car in the movie Risky Business, kind of had a soft spot in my heart for it. I love the headlight design, the pop up, but you still see them sticking there and like say Trans Am or something like that headlights. I liked that it was a GT car, so 2+2. V8 engine. I just love the styling of it too. So I would definitely love if they brought back a 928, and it wouldn't be that hard. You take the Panamera and shorten it. Take out 2 doors. I'm there. I'm there. This is a definite big thumbs up. The Jeep Wagoneer, which is coming back, although Jeep has not confirmed it. There are spy shots out there. There's lots of stories about it on Jeep forums. But if you look at the Wagoneers of old, 70s through 80s, early 90s when they stopped making them, they're very, very rugged. They're capable. They're reliable. They were great vehicles. Very simple, but you could haul just about anything you wanted in it. Go off road, just a great thing. And nowadays with the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneers, if you can find one in good shape, you are going to be paying big money for it. One that's restored, you're going to pay big money for. So again, if you're out there, you can find yourself a Wagoneer and you can pick it up cheap and it's in decent shape. Do a little work to it and you can absolutely sell it for big money. What? Well, no fake wood side. That's one of the best things about them. It differentiated them anyways. But I think I will agree that the days of fake wood siding has gone past. But it would be an interesting thing to bring back. And it seems like almost all of them that you see nowadays have the fake wood siding on it. This is another one that has a little piece of my heart because I've owned one and it was a very, very fun car to own and drive, and it was very sad the day that I sold it, and that is the Nissan 240 SX. Story with that car goes when I was in college the second time around for auto tech at Vermont Technical College. A gentleman, a guy that I knew from the first time I went to college, he was also at the same school at that point. He was in the auto tech program, but a year ahead of me. He had a 1989 240 SX Japanese JDM SR20 engine, turbo, all that stuff. He found a 92, I believe, 240. Body was a lot better on this car, but the engine, stock engine, had blown a valve. So he made the deal with me that if I helped him swap engines, that I could have the older car with the engine that needed to be rebuilt, and of course he would have the other one, and the car he would just give to me, the other one. So absolutely, I helped him. Helped him. I did the engine, replaced the valve in it. Being that I was first year student, he was second. I kind of flubbed up the head gasket and didn't buy a new one like I should have, so it leaked a lot of oil. But I love that car. It was fun to drive. It was faster than you'd think, even with the stock engine. And one day, one of the other guys in my my class said, "If you ever want to sell that, let me know. I'll buy it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I really don't want to sell it." It's like, "Oh, just throw out a number, and we'll see." So I gave him a number that I never thought he was going to be able to afford. About a week later, he walks in with cash, and I'm going, "Oh man, well, I did agree. If you could come up with the money, I'd sell it." So sold it to him. He had the plans of turbocharging the stock engine and a bunch of other stuff. And then it was like 2 years later, after we graduated, I said, "Hey, what's going on? We got 240." And he said, "Oh, I had to sell it because I couldn't do the work on it." And at that point, I kicked myself long and hard for getting rid of it in the first place. But don't worry, Steve, I forgive you. This is another one that I'd love to see come back. But to do that, they'd have to bring back a whole new, General Motors brand, Pontiac Fiero. Oh, yeah, definitely been there. Pontiac Fiero would be, with the thoughts of the new mid-engine Corvette coming out, the thought of it having a little brother in the form of a new Fiero, I think that would be pretty cool. In high school, somebody I worked with at the time had one of these cars, and she let me drive it home. We had about a half-hour drive home, and even though the car had the anemic Iron Duke, it was still a fun, fast little car. And Camaro time, yes, I have heard the rumors that Ford and GM are merging. I'll believe it when I see it, on paper and in reality. I don't know if there's any. Everybody says that they can help each other out. I don't really see it. Too many brands, too many cars that intermingle in the same sort of categories, trucks and all that sort of stuff. I just don't see it, working. But who knows? May happen sooner than we think. Yes, another one that needs to come back. The Dodge Viper. I don't think if it came back, you'd ever see a V10 in it again. But that would definitely be cool. We got a Mustang front end and a Camaro rear. That would be interesting. Yeah, at least the Mustang would be able to go straight. Yeah, and not crash. Yep, very true. So I'd love to see Viper come back. There's rumors that it's going to, and like I say, I highly doubt when it does come back that it'll have a straight just V10 engine. I'm sure it'll be some sort of V8 with a maybe some hybrid, something like that. I just don't think emissions and whatnot will allow for a V10 again. But it might surprise us. Before bringing back the Chevelle again, I'll believe it when I see it. I think that with the amount of cars that GM is slashing, I would be reluctant to see that. However, if the Chevelle came back two-door and was there to just fight the Challenger, and then the Camaro could focus more on fighting against the Mustang, I might be able to see that. I could do that. Okay, this one I'm not gonna. I don't know if I can quite do this one, but we'll see. Alfa Romeo GTV6. I'm just never really a big fan of the styling or, yeah, really the looks of it was just kind of, yeah. So I'm not. I can't get behind this one. Camaro would not doubt they would bring it back four-door, take on the Charger. That again makes a little sense. To have the Chevelle to take on the Charger and Challenger cars and 2- and 4-door guys, and then let the pony cars really battle it out. So it'd be interesting. I'd love to see the Chevelle come back. Just got to make it like the old one. A wide variety of engines, auto, manual, 2 4-door. It's all good. Yes. And this is kind of like the car that we were just talking about, the Chevrolet SS. Bring the SS back and just call it the Chevelle SS. Oh, yeah. It is unfortunate that the Holden plant down under is been shuttered, and they no longer make the Commodore, which the car is based on. But I can definitely see something being made in one of the U.S. or Canada plants where they should have done it to begin with. Just don't do it like they did the Malik. Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing. A lot of car companies have ruined nameplates by, for lack of a better word, playing them. Malibu had such a rich history for a nameplate, and now to look at it, it's sad. The Acura Integra Type R. Thumbs up. I think not even the Type R, and I talked about it earlier. Getting a small hatchback, 2 4-seater. I'd love to have a something like that. And what do we got next? Oh yes, Buick Grand National. Big thumbs up. Yeah, GTO. Well, styling of the GTO was that car's big problem. At least you could get it with a V8. It was 2-door, and you could get it manual. The styling, because they just ripped the car from the Australians and didn't really change things up other than making it left-hand drive. That was their big problem, was the styling. I think it could have been a much more successful car and especially at that time, they were going with kind of that retro, the retro styling was big. If they'd done even a slight retro look to it, I think it would have been a lot better received, and may have been enough to, save. No, it wouldn't have saved Pontiac. But anyways, so Buick Grand National. Yep. Well, yeah, the G bodies all look the same. There's very little differences other than front end and taillights. Middle was all the same. But the great thing about the Grand National was that 3.8 liter turbocharged V6, and especially in the GNX guys, that McLaren tuned car. If I was going to have a G body, I would either have the Grand National, or I was always a fan of the Monte Carlo SS. It's got to be a G body though. I will not buy one of those newer front wheel drive Monte Carlos. That was an abomination. Just my thoughts. But that could be done. And Road and Track says it wouldn't be that hard to resurrect the Grand National. Put it on Alpha, GM's Alpha platform, and put a twin turbo V6 from the ATS-V. That would work. Yeah, I like the Cutlasses too. But again, other than the front rear end, especially on the G bodies, not a lot of differences. I think that was part of the reason why the 80s drowned GM for a while, because everything, the badge engineering was just overdone. But any G body I would be proud to own. I just have that little affinity for Regal / Grand National and the Monte Carlos. I actually owned a 79 Regal for a while when I was just first getting my license. Unfortunately, that car had way more issues than I could afford to fix. That had a carbureted 3.8 V6. Fun car to drive, and it's one of those ones that, again, I kind of regret getting rid of, but it is what it is nowadays. Mazda RX-7. Yeah, I think there have been hints that a new rotary engined car is coming back, and I would be very surprised if it wasn't a RX-7/8. Don't know much about the rotaries, and other than the high RPM, and I like the styling of the older RX. We'll see. All right, Camaro time. I'm sorry to all the current designers, but get a clue? Absolutely. Rather than do a SUV with a Camaro front, do a retro square body. Yes. That is it's a very good point. Camaro time, Pete. GM, Chevrolet, so screwed up with the Blazer. So screwed up. If you're gonna bring back it, and this goes back to what we were talking about a minute ago about the names. They screwed up Malibu. They completely fouled up Blazer and the new Trailblazer. Wasn't a huge fan of the Trailblazers when they were out. 10 years ago, whatever it was. Still doesn't matter. They're screwing it up. If you're going to bring back an iconic name like the Blazer, you should have it be a very capable off-road focused vehicle, not this little watered down SUV, mid-size SUV. No, let that be some other name. Blazer should have been full-size, two-door, off-road capable, removable roof to, be a little bit bigger than the Wrangler. And yep. Yeah. I mean, that was the best thing about the K10 Blazers, all those, the C10 Blazer, whatever it was. They were fun, capable. Yeah. And absolutely screwed up. Yep, Walt, I would completely agree. I also was a huge fan because I owned one. The S10 Blazers were cool too. Mine was nothing special. It had a 2.8 liter V6, um, 4-wheel drive. Got me through a lot of off-road places, and it was still a fun 2-door, and then later a 4-door. But I liked the fun 2-door. You didn't have to take people with you unless they were willing to cram themselves, behind the seats to get in. And you're right, Pete, they were affordable, especially on the secondhand market because they sold a lot of them. They are, they were, capable, affordable, fun vehicles. 4.3 V6 was potent. Yeah, the 4.3 was also reliable. Same thing that I think Jeep screwed up when they got rid of the 4-liter inline 6. Why? Yes, didn't have the best gas mileage, but they were stupid reliable. You could get good power out of them. There's always ways around getting an engine to be more fuel efficient. Redo the head, make it direct injection. There's lots of things. Other companies make inline 6s and they're fuel efficient, but just you guys are getting me out, wound up into a tizzy, man. Let's see what's the next vehicle. El Camino. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be another one that I was so hoping that when the Chevy SS and back when the Pontiac G8s and all those stuff, when they're bringing the Holden cars over to sell here, that the Ute could have been another one of them. But alas, it is not. Is there a platform out there that GM has that they could do a new El Camino? No, not really. But I would love to see another one. Subaru Brat. If they could make it more like the Brat and less like the Baja, I'm in. A little, 2-door truck that, you can put, bags of mulch in and, just zip around and still have a little 4-wheel drive so you can do some off-road stuff. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. I could get behind that, but not the Baja, not a 4-door with a tiny little bed that you can't ever use anything in. But yeah, that's cool. Camaro time. I don't know. There is a company doing a Camaro station wagon. I'll have to try and find pictures of that, Pete. That'd be kind of interesting to see. Is it more of a shooting brake or is it an actual 4-door station wagon? That's my question. Baja died quick. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't capable. I mean, you get more use out of the legacy wagon than you could the Baja. I mean, the bed was only like what, 2 feet, 3 feet long, something like that. Not usable. Baja, the Baja, the Brat, wasn't stupid capable, but yeah, it was 4-wheel drive. It had a bed. I thought it was kind of cool. Anyways, custom shop wanting to build them. Oh, is a full rolling functional car. Ah, cool. Oh, Trans Ams. Oh, I'd love to see a Trans Am come back. Yes, there is a company, I believe it's down in Florida, that takes Camaros and transforms them into the Trans Ams, and they're cool. I actually like kind of the retro styling that they've done on it. A little bit better than the Camaros, and I love the Camaros. Well, Fan, here's one for you.
Yes.
Mitsubishi Eclipse. The actual Eclipse, not the stupid SUV that they have out now. I can remember back when these cars, the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the Plymouth Laser, Eagle, Talon, all came out. I thought those were a cool trio of cars, especially when you could get one that's turbocharged, all-wheel drive, and I think some of them actually came with four-wheel steering, which pretty cool. What did the dog do?
Scared the fireworks.
Oh, okay. So bringing back in. Yes. Trans Am Worldwide. Yes.
It's worldwide.
I think that I think there's going to be a generation soon of people that are going to want a two-door, especially the younger generation. If you could make a two-door coupe affordable enough for the young people and don't pander to them like Scion tried to do, I think you could sell them. But it's got to look good. It's got to be affordable. It's got to be fun. It's got to be modifiable. That's why, Fast and Furious, was so big. Those cars were cool looking. They were modifiable. They were, at the time, especially when the Fast and Furious came out, cars were cheap. Now they're, a lot of these cars aren't. And that's, I think car companies are going to be shooting to themselves. Yeah, finding some of, especially the early trio cars, it's hard to find one that's still, in decent condition. Out of all of them, I think the Eagle Talon, hands down, had the best styling and, best when it came to features. The Eclipse was a very close second.
Only
cool.
second? Wow.
Dude.
When I call you my dad.
The Eagle Talon was way cooler. Now, the later cars, after they stopped making the other two, I mean, you could only get the Eclipse. I'm all good with that, but will not buy a new car again. I'm going back to carbs if I get another car. Yeah. If I did, HEI. Yep. Stealth. Oh, I do. Yes, I remember those cars. That was another Stealth in the 3000 GT VR4. Oh, yeah. Twin turbo, all-wheel drive, four-wheel steering. That's the bomb. Okay, next car is another Mitsubishi, and this one is the Lancer Evolution. Mitsubishi really shot themselves in the foot when they stopped getting, competing against Subaru with some of their cars, like the Lancer Evolution. I think that a boutique, company like Mitsubishi making some really kick-ass cars like the Lancer Evolution, the Eclipse, again, priced right, good styling. They could have, in my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, but they could have sold the crap out of them. But no, everybody thinks they want to have a four-wheel drive, whatever. Now we're back in Porsche land. The Porsche 944. I would love to have a 944. I was always as much of a fan of the front engine Porsches as I was of the 911, especially in the turbo guys. The 944 was pretty capable. It also kind of in a way, it led the way to Camaro or Corvette's rear transaxle, because this car also had a rear transaxle rather than separate transmission and axle differential in the rear. So that's another pretty cool thing. Getting down to the end of the list here. 914s. What do I think about the 914s? They were very underpowered unless you had the 914 with the flat six in it, which they didn't make tons of those. Styling I thought was pretty cool. I'd love to see again. This all goes back to small cars. I like to see small cars done right, and this leads us into our next car, which is the Toyota MR2. And again, it goes right with the 914 as being a mid-engine, rear-drive sports car. I'm all in. Camaro time. Bring back affordable car like the Daytona. They missed. Yeah, they absolutely missed it with the Dart. I think the Dart was overpriced. Was not very reliable. It was not very modifiable, from what I understand. There are a lot of people that do figure out the modifications on them, but they weren't great cars. And I think that again, any company, if they do it right, can bring fun back into their lineup. But and let's see, we've got the Volvo P1800, a good-looking two-door Volvo. I'm absolutely all in on that. And the P1800 was a fantastic-looking car. And the final car for this bring back list is the Honda S2000. Yep, small, affordable, fun roadster slash coupe, whatever. All in. All right. Let's see. What else can we? I'm gonna go through and see what else I can find for stories. Oh my God! Come on, Cadillac. I'm not worried, but and I don't know if you guys are either, but maybe these. Maybe it's the CX that I'm thinking of. Cadillac, the headline from Roadshow is, "Don't worry, hotter Cadillac CT4V and CT5V variants are on the way." I thought those were the SUVs, but apparently I am wrong. See, okay, sedans. This is kind of an interesting story for me because I thought, yeah, the S2000s are on a Quaalude print. Yeah, that would be another one. All comes back to the fun cars. We don't have a lot of them anymore. I thought that I had heard the CT6 was going the way of the Dodo, but maybe I'm wrong here. Ooh, talking about taking the ZR1 engine and putting them in the new Cadillac platform. I could get behind that. Let's see. News we reported last year when a Cadillac employee said the brand's 4.2-liter twin-turbo engine would make its way into the next CTS-V. In this case, the CT5V. Cadillac's Blackwing V8 will make 550 horsepower, and the CT6V. Why can't they just bring back, the Eldorado and DeVille and all those, names back rather than all these CTs things. It's come on. So 550 horsepower in the CT6V, which we worried might not be enough to properly replace the bonkers 640 horsepower CTSV. But considering the CT5V only makes a measly 355 horsepower, the 550 horsepower V8 would be a serious, healthy bump. Yep. CT4V has a number of V6 engines in its portfolio that make more horsepower than the sedan's 320 horsepower, 2.7 liter turbocharged 4. So if a hotter CT4V is indeed in the works, there are a few different ways Cadillac could go in an effort to have a better match 464 horsepower offering in the outgoing ATS-V sedan and coupe. Okay. All black editions? Oh, yes. That would be cool. What else do we have as far as some other news? Recall roundup. Why don't we do this? The latest automotive safety recalls. Oh my God, 171. We're not going through all of these. But we'll go through about 5 or 10 of them. Say, what are we at here, Pete? I'm like you. I just don't get it. Rather than make an affordable car, they take the Camaro 1E and put a turbo 4 in it and charge even more. Good thing, yeah. Yep, totally. For me, I would much rather have a cheap, okay, not cheap, an affordable, fun car, small car, than paying crap loads of money for, you know, the Camaro Turbo 4. I don't get where car makers' minds are at time, but again, nobody asked me. Yep, don't get it. Okay, first recall I'm gonna mention 2019 Honda CR-V. This was reported on the 21st, so it's 10 days old. It affects 118,598 vehicles. Metal core of the steering wheel may have burrs which can damage the harness routed within, potentially disabling the driver's airbag and causing it to deploy without warning. Yeah, bad, Honda, bad. Next, we talked about this last week. A whole bunch of Acuras and Hondas for passenger airbag inflator may have been installed incorrectly during replacement. Oh my gosh, this is different. All right. Honda, the Acura TSX wagons from 14, the 10 and 12 Acura ZDX, the 08 to 12 Honda Accord, 06 to 11 Honda Civics, 12 to 14 Tour Cross, 7 to 11 CRVs, 09 through 13 Fit, 10 to 13 Insights, and the 9 to 15 Honda Pilots. 19,000 vehicles. They're saying the front passenger airbag inflator may have been installed incorrectly during replacement. How? Okay, I'm not okay. Anyways, may not deploy right, could get hurt. So keep your eye on if you got one of these cars and go get another airbag. Okay, this is again, a little bit older story, May 13th. 13 through 16, Ford Fusion, 259,000 vehicles. Fusions equipped with a 2.5-liter engine. The bushing that attaches a transmission shifter cable to the transmission may degrade over time and cause the bushing to detach from the transmission. The condition could allow the driver to move the shifter lever to park and remove the ignition key while the transmission may not be in park. And it could cause the car to roll, increasing the risk of crash. Yeah, I think I did talk about that one. What do we got here? Take out air, power windows, locks, and have steel wheels with dog dishes. Yep. Still waiting on the Takata airbag fix for the Tahoe. Really? Why would GM do something that silly? It's incredible what companies will do to try and get out of a recall. Just replace them for God's sakes. Yeah, I know it all comes down to money. That's what everything comes down to, which stinks. Last recall I'm going to just touch on because it's my show and I decided we're just going to do a couple. 2016 through 19, BMW X1. 106,000 of the X1s are affected. X1 S Drive 28i and X Drive 20 S Drive or X Drive. In the event of a crash where the occupant's head contact the B pillar, the pillar may not absorb an adequate amount of the impact. Why would occupants' heads? Okay, all right, whatever. As such, these vehicles fail to comply with the requirements of the FMVSS, occupant protection of interior impacts. In the event of a crash, insufficient impact absorption can increase the risk of injury. Okay. So that's it for recall. See anything else I want to talk about, or are we going to just been on for about an hour? So I think cannot figure out why people are so distracted when driving. Really? Very good point, Pete. The technology that are in cars now are, in one respect, yeah, they're safer. But when you have to go through all these different things to, unlike old where it's, below everything is, below the stereo is your heater controls. Yeah, when you have to go through everything with one screen and it's all electronic, that is stupid. I think there's some incompetence there. Sure, everybody wants the latest and greatest and wants everything, but it's absolutely not safe. No way. Let's see. Check this. Discovery is the ultimate barn find. Really? There are barn finds, and then there's this. Down an unmarked, unpaved road in America lurks a collection of classic vehicles, the likes of which you've never seen before. Okay. Billy Eubanks, he spent 50 years collecting an incredible number of vehicles, but not for financial benefit. Instead, he gradually built up the throng of iconic machines because of an automotive obsession. I think I remember this one. This was part of an episode of Barn Find Hunters that Haggerty's channel does. Tom Cotter is the host. I think I've talked about it before on the channel. It is a great show to watch. If you guys aren't watching it, absolutely go over there and do it. He finds a ton of really amazing cars. So this guy, I remember watching this episode, collecting for 50 years. He's got stupid amazing cars, and he's not willing to sell any of them because he loves them and he's going to keep them. Just some of the cars that he has include Dodge Daytonas, Plymouth Superbirds, and I'm not saying just one, multiples of each. Big block Chevys, various Ford Thunderbirds, an L82 Corvette with less than 10 miles on the odometer. Granted, most of these cars have not been driven in a decade or more. There are a few cars that he does drive, as much as he can, including, I believe, Cadillac, 59 Cadillac. But some of the other cars in his collection, De Tomaso Pantera, 1929 Stutz, 1940 Lincoln Continental, 440 six-pack Dodge Charger RT, 69 Ford Torino Talladega, Mercury Cyclone Dan Gurney Special, 57 Nomad. See what other cars, and it's not all just American stuff. He's got Jags, including an XJ140, E-Type V12, a Mark II Saloon, XK120, Corvettes. I mean, you name it, this guy's got it, and all of them, for the most part, are in awesome condition, other than the fact that these cars need to be gone through, I'm sure wiring and brake lines, fuel lines, that sort of stuff would have to be gone through, but it's just amazing. Yes, that's a good point, Pete. That is the one thing I do absolutely love about Jay Leno is, yes, he's got another stupid big collection, but every car is meticulously taken care of. He likes the, as he calls them, unrestored original cars. But if the car needs something, it gets taken care of. If it leaks something, it gets taken care of. It gets driven. And a lot of these cars that he has are like, some of them priceless or close to priceless. And he makes sure that all those cars are taken care of. People seek him out, give him cars just because they know it's going to get taken care of. Awesome. It is such an amazing thing. And it'll be a sad day when Jay Leno is no longer with us. But I'm sure with his estate that'll be turned into a museum, and it'll be the same sort of thing, which is awesome. Buy Hot Wheels and take up less space. You can still pay a lot of money for an old, Hot Wheels and Matchbox car. I've been trying to get a buddy of mine who, I want to say restores, but he modifies Hot Wheels cars. He has an Instagram handle and stuff that he shows those cars on, and I'll try to remember to put that somewhere in here. His Instagram. He does some pretty cool stuff. And again, you guys have not gone over and seen Haggerty's Barn Find Hunters. Definitely go over there and do it. There are some really great episodes with some really, really great cars. I think that is going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you, both of you, Pete and Walt, for sticking around and chatting throughout the night. Really, really appreciate you two stopping by. And we will do this all again next week. Have a day. Hopefully it's a good one.